Hi guys, in this video I'm going to be taking you through how to link two Google Sheet documents together, more specifically how to link your client-specific Google Sheet with the Fetch Global Trafficking Template. Now, firstly, the reason for this is that any changes made to the Fetch Global Trafficking Template will then be instantly reflected in your client-specific, meaning you won't have to manually update and making sure every client-specific sheet is constantly updated and consistent with the Fetch Global Trafficking Template. So before we get started, I'm going to take you through named cell ranges. These will make sense to you once I start typing in the formula and going through that with you. But for now, let me just show you where to find these named cell ranges. So if you navigate to the Data tab within the Google Sheet and go to Named Ranges, you can see a list of preset named ranges that already exist within this document. The bold is the title of the named range. Underneath that, in quotation marks, is the sheet in which that named range sits. And then following the exclamation mark is the cell reference for that. So then if we click on each one, it will highlight where that range is, as you can see. The optional fixed columns, obviously they're client specific, so that's why they have individual ones. Your client might not need any, your client might need just one or two. It's all dependent. But the mandatory, obviously that's mandatory across all clients, and this is going to remain the same. So that's why the mandatory one encompasses all of those. Okay, cool. So to get started, I would copy and paste in the cells from the global trafficking template. This is because the import range function does not pull data, it only pulls data values, it won't pull formats. So you want to make sure that your cells within your client specific fit the same formats of the global trafficking template, just to make it standardized and make sure it all looks the same. So copy and pasting in from the global trafficking template, making sure our cells are all formatted correctly and according to the trafficking template. Pasted that in, I would now delete all the values within those cells out, just keeping our formulas. And then after doing that, we can begin the formula. So equals import range, and then double quotation marks. We are going to first state the URL in which we're trying to fetch data from. In this case, the global trafficking template, double quotation marks to close that, followed by a comma, and then it's your second argument. So this will be enclosed in double quotation marks also. The first part of the second argument in single quotation marks is the name of the sheet we're pulling in. In this case, that's going to be mandatory. You can just copy and paste that in. And then after that, followed by a exclamation mark, is going to be the name of the cell range that we're pulling in. This cell range, we can find out the name of the cell range going into data cell ranges. The cell range of this is also called mandatory in full caps. So, and there's no need for quotation marks within this. So we can just type that in straight, no quotation marks needed, mandatory. So we have the first argument is the URL in quotation marks and comma, and then double quotation marks within single quotation marks, the name of the sheet, exclamation mark, and then no quotation marks needed for this, the name of the cell range, double quotation marks ends the second argument, and then parentheses, enter. Automatically pulls that in for you. So now any changes made within the global trafficking template instantly reflected within here. And I can show you again how to do that with a optional fix. This client has only got free forms, so I would just leave these. These are fine to stay. So then we want to say, for the purposes of this, let's just pull it in. Let's say the client needs creative size. So I would copy out this cell, these cells to get the format, paste that in, and then we can just delete all the information within there. And then we can go equals import range, double quotation marks, the URL that we want to pull the data from, double quotation marks to close that, comma, and then double quotation marks your second argument. Within single quotation marks, it's going to be the name of the sheet, in this case, optional fixed. Single quotation mark to close that, exclamation mark to follow, and then the name of the range we're going to be pulling in. Creative size, we can find that here. Creative size, capital C, capital S, no space. So I can type that in. Creative size, and no need for quotation marks to end that. Double quotation marks ends the second argument. Parentheses, enter, and there you go. It's pulled in, and it's as simple as that. If you can follow these steps when editing a current trafficking sheet, as I've just done, and you can also do these steps from scratch when building out a new one. I hope it helps.